In this video, we'll show you how to change the front brake rotors and pads in your Chevy Silverado. You can find them on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Chevy Silverado safely. Open the brake fluid reservoir. Ask another person to press the brake pedal. Using a ratchet and a Torx T30 socket, loosen the bolt holding the disc. Turn the disc outwards. This will facilitate the following steps. Insert a flathead screwdriver into the opening of the brake caliper. Lift it off using a screwdriver as a lever by pulling it towards you. This will cause the pistons to retract slightly so that the caliper can be removed more easily for the next steps. With a socket wrench and a 19mm socket, unscrew the lower slide pin. Sometimes you have to keep the lock nut from turning by holding it with your fingers or a 19mm wrench. Repeat this process with the upper slide pin. Finish unscrewing by hand. Tip: attach a piece of electrical cable or a hook to one of the strut spring coils. You can now remove the brake caliper and hook it to the previously installed hook. Remove the brake pads. You can use a screwdriver to help you. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the anti-rattle clips. Using a socket wrench and an 18mm socket, unscrew the two holding bolts on the caliper mount. Depending on the state of the bolts on the caliper mount, it may be necessary to use a hammer to loosen them. Remove the caliper mount. Hey! It's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Finish unscrewing the disc retaining bolt in order to remove it. Sometimes the disc may get stuck on the hub. If this happens, use a hammer to remove it. Finally, remove the disc. Clean the wheel hub with a wire brush. You can order the discs and pads kit used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Before installing the new disc, it is vital to clean it using brake cleaner and paper towels to take off the storage paraffin. If your new disc is coated, you can place it directly onto the wheel hub. Put the new brake disc in place. Screw the disc retaining bolt back on. Using a wire brush, clean the caliper mount to remove any excess rust that could prevent the pads from sliding. Also, brush the caliper mount retaining bolts. Then apply medium-strength thread locker to prevent accidental unscrewing. Reassemble the caliper mount by screwing first by hand, then with a socket wrench and an 18mm socket to lock them in place. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Grab the brake caliper. Place a used pad in the caliper. Then using a clamp or brake windback tool, press the pistons into the caliper. As the pistons enter the caliper, brake fluid will flow back into the brake fluid reservoir. Depending on the original level of the reservoir, make sure that the liquid does not overflow. Get hold of the anti-rattle clips supplied in the kit. Place the new anti-rattle clips on the caliper mount. Grab the new pads and lightly coat the ends with copper grease to help them slide more easily. Insert the new pads into the caliper mount by sliding them in. The brake pad with the wear indicator spring must be positioned on the inside. You need to check the sliding of the brake caliper slide pins and the condition of the caliper slide pin boots. If they look worn, you are advised to replace them with new ones. Put the brake caliper back in place and screw in the slide pins, by hand at first. Screw them in using a socket wrench and a 19mm socket. You can use a 19mm wrench to prevent the bolts from rotating. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Don't forget to remove the cable that you use to hold the caliper. Insert a flathead screwdriver thin enough to fit between the two walls of the disc. It must be inserted before the caliper mount so that it can abut against it. Finish tightening the disc retaining bolt with a torque wrench. Then remove the screwdriver. Clean both sides of the disc with brake cleaner and a cloth to remove the grease from the new pads. You can now repeat the same process on the other side. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels properly. Don't forget to screw the brake fluid cap back on before starting the car. Attention! Before using your vehicle again, start your car and pump the brake pedal a few times to push the brake pads together again. Try to drive smoothly and avoid sudden braking for the first 30 miles or so to avoid glazing the new pads. Operation complete.
Quality parts, priced right.